Hey, John here. Just want to do a quick video. Haven't done a video for a while, so I thought I'd just do a quick one while I was driving up to the store. Actually up to the bank. Got to drive up to the bank because I had this thing happen where I deposited my check with the ATM, and then for some reason it didn't go through, even though it had my signature on it. I don't know. But instead of you being able just to drive up there and fix it, you have to wait in the mail for them to send you something. And now gotta make sure it goes through so I don't have like one of my other checks bounced or something, because it's the thing that should have already been in the bank. So anyway, just making a turn up here. Got Charlie in the car with me. Hey, Charlie. Okay. It's kind of a busy street I gotta turn on here. Yeah, it's kind of a busy street. This is like about the worst thing about living in this spot. You gotta take a left on this busy. In fact, I already kind of missed my turn to make. I could have already made the turn if I wasn't like stopping to do that little camera adjustment. So anyway, in some of these other videos I was trying to be careful kind of not to show kind of where I live, but it doesn't matter because I'm actually going to be moving in a couple weeks. So man, look at all this traffic coming in. It's like as soon as it clears going one direction, then it's like you got 50 more cars coming the other direction. So anyway, so yeah, that's that whole thing with having to move. You see, what it was is a while back our landlord told us that, you know, me and my roommate had to be out of this house by May 1st because he has to like close it, he's gonna do a bunch of renovation to it and stuff and everything. So anyway, we should have found a place a lot earlier, but we still actually haven't. So that's why I actually came back earlier from that one trip after I went to St. Louis. I thought about maybe doing something like going to the RTR, but I ended up not going, or because, well, I don't know if I would have gone or not, but anyway, but it eliminated that possibility because I had to like make sure to come back to deal with this kind of junk. So it's like, you know, anyway, so just driving up. This street is 6th Avenue East. It's kind of goes pretty much kind of in the center of Duluth, and it's kind of a pretty busy road. We're real like kind of in the real college area. Around here, a lot of like college rentals and stuff, because they're not too far from UMD, the University of Minnesota Duluth. Anyway, it's sort of a weird back road way I gotta go to get to this place, but US Bank. But I'm actually gonna go in and everything. I just gotta make sure that this check goes through, you know, that there's no problem with it. I guess maybe it just happened because I think the whole thing may have happened because I had kind of a crappy pen that I was trying to sign it with. It didn't maybe completely make it right, because now they probably just have it all verified by some computer. So if you don't do it, but I mean, but isn't there always like some doctors who are always signing their in some weird way? Anyway, but do they always sign it the weird way, the same way though? So anyway, yeah, so I've been thinking about going like on another road trip, this time bringing Charlie with me, but got to kind of take care of the whole thing with the apartment first. So anyway, oh, it looks like we're getting to a sunny area now. Oh, these windows are kind of fogging up. Be careful on these hills here. Okay, I didn't want to turn the defroster on because I'm trying to like eliminate the background noise while I'm trying to tape this. How long is it going to be in the future before we finally stop saying tape this? Even though, yeah, it's just one of those things that gets in the language, even though tapes haven't been around for a long time. But we say it. I mean, even like the young people say it who don't even know what a tape recorder even is. So anyway, yeah, it's kind of nice and scenic looking out here. It actually hasn't really snowed big time this year. I mean, there's been snow on the ground pretty much since I don't know, maybe the beginning of December, but it hasn't really, it's been more like a bunch of like a few like smaller falls of snow. There hasn't been like one really big one where it snows like a couple feet or something. It hasn't happened this year, but anyway. What else I want to talk? Oh yeah, yes. If you go to Dave Hughes' channel, Camo Dave, I called him up the other day. He had something called Phone-a-Palooza, and where he was having people call him up on this old phone because it had a number that he was going to get rid of, so he didn't mind giving people the number, and he kind of recorded. So if you watch that one from, I think it was February 5th, I guess today's the 6th, you could hear me on there during one of the parts. I should have actually recorded it myself. I could have had it better. I mean, I think I didn't sound real good on it. I should have maybe thought of a little bit better stuff to say on it, but anyway. But a bunch of people were calling up. Some of the people were probably trying to go on his thing just to get like what he calls like a shout out, to try to promote their own channel. People with like, because he's got a fairly popular channel, people with lesser channels like mine trying to, but in reality, I don't think many people are really going to actually go to that just because they saw that. I mean, only a very small percentage, so it would only really help you if you really got like on some channel that was like, you know, that was like really popular. He's maybe got like 2,000 views, but anyway. But he has this thing where he mostly just talks about things that are happening. He calls it the bottom of YouTube. I'm still not sure exactly what that means, actually. I gotta ask him because he keeps using that expression, but I'm not sure exactly what that means. But I guess he means like on these lesser sites. But he basically talks about like, he's basically just kind of like talks about other YouTube videos, which a large percentage of them being van dwelling channels, even though he's not a van dweller himself. But neither am I. I mean, really, I've just been on a couple or maybe one little trip. Anyway, so. But I like watching just because he's pretty funny, the stuff he says, but it's like, you know, yeah, this is Kenwood Plaza we're by here. They just built this big apartment building there. It wasn't there. They just built that within the last couple of years. That wasn't there. They've kind of built a lot of new stuff in Duluth lately. Anyway, okay, got this nice vibration going on while I'm sitting here. Okay. Wells Fargo. Okay, so I'm just going to go in here, and Charlie's going to probably kind of go crazy as he usually does when I'm leave him alone. But okay, but what he can do is, while I'm in Wells Fargo, well, not in Wells Fargo, while I'm in U.S. Bank, I'll go ahead and get Charlie on the film. There you go, Charlie. You're a star. The Charlie cam. The buddy cam. Back in a minute, buddy. Why are you all shivering, buddy? It's plenty warm in here. You just kind of scared or something? What? Come on, buddy. Just get under your blanket, buddy. Get scared. I'll be back in a minute. Back in a minute, buddy. Da, 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 da. Oh, Charlie, I missed you so much. It was 5 minutes ago. It was an eternity for me, though. Ah, it was an eternity for me. I'm here. I missed you so much, John. I missed you so much. Okay. Anyway. Alright. So anyway, so I asked them about it, and they couldn't really give me a very good explanation of it. So anyway, so hey, but it kind of shows that maybe these new systems of like depositing stuff in an ATM maybe isn't a good idea, because I guess what happens is that actually if it can't scan the thing, I guess it just, if the ATM is unable to like verify your signature, then what happens is I guess it just shreds it, and then you just gotta wait for it to come in the, you know, because nobody actually from like the branch actually comes and like looks at it, because probably with the old system they probably at least took it out and took a look at it. But anyway, so like these windows really get super fogged up if you haven't driven for a few days, because a lot of times I might drive for days because anywhere, just because if I'm in town, because I just do all my work from home. So anyway, oh, we get fogged up, baby. So anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, I was talking about so anyway, that Camo Dave, he's pretty funny. He basically just does a thing talking about like other YouTubers and stuff, but it's pretty funny, some of the stuff. Then I was looking at some of those ones are kind of funny that he mentioned, because he's good to watch. Dave Hughes, he's got a couple channels. Dave Hughes, the main one is Camo Dave, because he'll kind of tell you about other like channels that are out there that are pretty funny and are good and everything. So but he's kind of like in that media thing, because for a long time he's had a website in the DC area where he talks about pretty much DC stations, I guess radio and TV, and he kind of has been updating it for a long time. And so he's kind of like a guy who likes media, and I guess he's gotten more into like the YouTube thing. So anyway, some of these ones, like I was watching some of those ones, like those vlogger puppets. Some of those ones are pretty funny. That one they were doing on that one the vlogger puppets had, they were talking, it was a parody of Bob Wells thing about pets going to the vet. He says, okay, so what you're saying is, so you put the paperwork in an envelope, and you put the envelope in a fold, you know, because they're just kind of how he kind of repeats something that's real basic. I mean, not Bob Wells, I mean, he has a great channel and everything, but he's he does a lot to help people, but that's kind of funny. I mean, that's the whole thing about parody. I mean, it doesn't mean you're always necessarily like you don't like the person or anything, but just as kind of funny. It points out like maybe a few weird things about the person. But anyway, but about other YouTube channels. The one thing I was thinking about other YouTube channels is kind of like some of the ones that I find, some of the channels that I find kind of annoying. It's what we call very meta. That's a new word they've been kind of using a lot, meaning kind of like something that's about it. So it's basically like the channel, like maybe 50% or maybe 70% of the channel, it's kind of like is just talking about the channel itself. It's like a channel about a channel. It's like, okay, so the channel is this, and the channel is that, just talking about the channel, and then it's like all these things talking about how many subscribers they have, and having all these little contests and all this stuff, where it's just like a channel about a channel. And it's just I mean, it's like we say, very meta. It's like these ones like, okay, who wants to know about, like, talk about the channel itself? It's sort of like these, like, I always get annoyed, like, sometimes, like, it's always been kind of like somewhat of like this is something if you took any kind of like English writing courses where you kind of get in trouble for this. They say, like, don't do a thing saying, okay, in this paper, what I'm going to do, in this paper, what, don't, it's like, no, just do it. Don't, like, talk about what you're going to be doing. Just, do it. And then, but then there's some channels that are like that I was finding kind of annoying, like I guess I'll mention, like, I was watching that, like Evie, oh well, anyway, this is one of those screwed up intersections where about 6 streets come together and you can't figure it out. Anyway, it was Evie Nova. Like, now I like her, but one of the things she does, it's kind of like annoying a lot of times is like where it's like these things. Okay, in this video I will talk about this. In this video I will talk about that. You know, and it's like, just do it. You know, it's like it's 5 minutes in and all you're doing is like talking about what you're going to be talking about. So it's like, you know. And then I watch some videos. Now this doesn't really apply to YouTube so much, but maybe something where they might be talking about something that's maybe somewhat kind of technical, you know, or something where maybe, but where maybe I just want to get a little idea of it, you know, even watching something that's maybe above the level I'd understand. And it's these experts, and let's just say like they're talking about like mark larding. Okay, guys, like now what do you guys think? No, a lot of people think mark larding is not this, but mark larding is this. But yeah, but mark larding was been around since ancient times, and mark larding, and it's like what they do is like all they use is just the key word, like the big word that nobody knows what it means. They never use any kind of synonym. I mean, just say they need to, no, you guys need to use some other word other than mark larding, because you know what you're doing, you know, because you know you could just substitute mark larding with like any other word. You could put like banana in there, you could put like oceanography, you could put like any word in there you want, and it wouldn't like actually change the meaning, because they're saying nothing that, and you know, and even though it is maybe some video that's written for like more like the expert, not for like the layman, I mean, they still need to like have some point at which like the human kind of like inserts himself for a second, because even like when I've taken like some, you know, high level classes but what they do is at some point they maybe using a lot of terminology, but then at some point they'll say like, okay, but just remember what we're basically just saying is this, and then they'll kind of break it down, you know, just to kind of remind you at some point, okay, what you're really doing, in case you kind of forget. You know, with these guys, like, you know, it's just like, okay, they just keep mentioning just the key word, just the main term over and over again. You could, like I said, you could just put in like, substitute that main word for any word, you know, put any other word in there and it would still make sense, because there's, in the context, they never say, none of the rest of the conversation doesn't do anything to actually you know, indicate anything about what the thing's about or describe it. So anyway, backing into my parking spot. This is like this difficult thing this difficult maneuver I gotta do to back my car into this parking spot here. I know it's really tough. Then I gotta go with this weird effing angle, and then I gotta like, and then I'm going like uphill on ice here, so it's like, and it's hard to get enough momentum. Okay, all right, that time I made it in okay, because it's like my roommate. He's got 3 vehicles, because it's like he bought the one wasn't working, and then he bought some other one that was supposed to be better. Then that one wasn't as good, so then he bought some other one, and then he was gonna get rid of the other one, and and then it's just like, you know, so I gotta like go through this crappy maneuver, like back into this really tight spot in the snow, and it's like where I'm almost like hitting this concrete wall every time. So it's like, anyway, so I'm back, and that's a 20-minute video. Probably just gonna put it on unedited. Charlie's all excited to get out of the car. You want to get out of the car, buddy? All right, there he goes. All right, talk to you guys later.